Welcome to another episode of the Illustrious Gentlemen, the place where comic book artists and top blokes Scott Godleski and Ryan Cody talk about life, work, comics, and booze. Follow the show on Twitter at TIG_show and online at www.tigshow.com, TIGSHOW.com. Don't forget to let us know what you're drinking while you're listening to the show. Go on yourself, big man.
Hi everyone. On this week's episode, Ryan and Scott talk about Scott's new gig doing a short run on Superman and how his career evolved from self-publishing to working on the world's most iconic superhero. We would also love it if you could all leave us a review on iTunes or whichever app you listen to the show on. That really helps get the show in front of more listeners, and it's an easy way to show some support. Speaking of supporting the show, this week's episode is sponsored by our good friends at Jesse James Comics. Go check out the new Jesse James Comics location at the northwest corner of Peoria and 51st Avenue by Sprouts. The new 8,000 square foot location has an expanded gaming area for Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Force of Will, and many other games. They have their well-known $1 treasure room and over 500,000 items for sale on the floor, including new issues. You can also check them out at jessejamescomics.com or on Facebook and Twitter. One track won't delete because I'm currently recording. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
everything's all right. Okay. So for anyone right off the bat, I sound nasally. Scott might sound a little sick. It's infected everybody. Everyone I've talked to in the last week or so seems to have some sort of nagging issue. So I'm going to power through mine with alcohol.
Kills everything.
Yeah, that's what it's there for. Okay, so what was I going to say? Oh, before we really start, okay. I just wanted to let you know that you should take your son and go see Kong Skull Island. It's really good. Yeah, it's better than I thought it was going to be, and if your kid's at all into, like, monsters or, like, military action movies at all, it's good.
I've never been interested in giant monster movies.
Well, no, I'm not either, but it was a fun movie.
Was it really?
It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, put it that way. I saw it on Easter Sunday when everyone else was either in church or watching like Fast 8. We went and saw Kong, so it was good. But anyways, did you...
All right.
I know, you get easily excited about things. I want to keep you on an even keel. Did you break out the good bourbon for this episode?
No, I didn't. Well, yeah, being not 100% and... the sinus thing going on, my taste buds and my nose aren't what they should be. I wanted it to be the best experience it could be. So I didn't want to come to that bottle with anything less than 100% of my faculties. So I'm expecting big things out of it. I'm going to be horribly disappointed because that's just, how the universe treats me. But
and what makes it such a... Is it a bourbon you've been wanting to try?
Yeah, it's okay. One I've been chasing for a year.
All right, couldn't you just get it on online?
I could go online and order it, but then I have to pay for shipping and stuff. So.
Okay.
I don't know why there isn't an Amazon for booze.
You know what? I actually looked because I just signed up for Amazon Prime. And then it prompted me to sign up for like Amazon Business because it somehow, with the algorithms and the cyber spying, it knew that I ran a business.
Yeah.
Poorly. But so I signed up for that, so you get like free 2-day shipping and you get free other things. So I paid for Amazon Prime. So I paid like $12 for a monthly Prime membership, but all I ordered was this like $8 screen. So then I was like, I gotta spend some more money on Amazon to get that free shipping worth it. And so I was looking for beer and stuff, and certain cities do sell beer and wine on Amazon. It's not available in my town, but it's probably available in Phoenix. But not hard liquor.
I want a full-blown Amazon booze. I want to go on there and get discounted hooch with free 2-day shipping.
Exactly.
That's what I want.
No, there's not. Totally. Where do you go? Do you go to like a Total Wine now, or where do you go to get your stuff?
Yeah, there's a Total Wine a few miles from me, so that's usually where I end up. Fry's has a surprisingly good selection, but they're hardly ever competitive, and with your bucks, your dollars,
Right.
they were more expensive than everything. So
Yeah, I saw someone online posted that they got a bottle of that Hellboy cinnamon whiskey at a Total Wine.
oh really?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where they live or anything like that.
See,
but
I have no
saw a
interest in
tweet.
cinnamon whiskey, but I would buy it just for the bottle.
Yeah, except the problem is the bottle doesn't look that good. It's like, I mean, there's a Mignola Hellboy, which is cool, but then like the font for cinnamon whiskey is all it's all like comic booky bullshit
Yeah.
that they do. But I
don't know that I'd ever drink it, but
I would drink it. I mean, it's whatever. I would drink it. But anyways, so what do you have today since you're not drinking your bourbon that you were planning on?
well, what the last time I went, I don't know why I got this, but I was going initially just to get probably a bottle of Buffalo Trace, and then I had intended to get like a bottle of Jameson because it's getting warmer, and a nice whiskey sour makes for a good warm weather drink. So I had intended to get a bottle of Jameson or some other, moderately priced, nice Irish whiskey. But I ended up getting a bottle of Grangestone. It's this particular one is what is this? Grangestone. It's a Highland single malt Scotch, and this is one of their. I don't know if this is the only thing they do. This gimmicky sort of thing. It's double matured. So, at first go round, it's aged in just the standard barrels like they usually use, and I'm pretty sure Scotches don't use new barrels. They use like second use barrels. I don't even know what you would call it. So they, bourbon distillers have to use new American oak barrels. So they use those and then they sell them for second use. So a lot of Scotches go into those bourbon barrels. But this one had the second part of its life in Caribbean rum casks. There's no age statement on any of this, so I don't know how long they stayed in either thing. I think Scotches have to be aged 2 years, maybe. I'm sure somebody will correct me on that, probably Joe. But yeah, I picked this up, and I opened this a couple weeks ago when I went and got my bottle of Eagle Rare. And the first time I opened it up, I was super, super, super unimpressed. On the nose, it just smells like a wine, like maybe like a white wine, and I'm not a wine guy. And even the taste of it initially was like wine. But the more I drank, the more I kind of tried to figure out what it was. The best way I can describe it is the taste, anyways, it kind of tastes like an apple Danish smells. It's not sweet. It's not overly sweet. There is some sweetness in there, like a vanilla, but it's got it almost tastes like baked goods. It's interesting. It's growing on me the more I drink it.
I wonder if you mixed it with like a cream soda or a ginger beer.
Maybe.
Or something like that.
I made a Rob Roy out of it the other night, and I'm not a vermouth guy, I guess. That was the second time I've tried vermouth and something. I made myself a Manhattan ages ago, and I didn't like it then, and I really don't like it now. But yeah, but neat, it's fine. A little splash of water helps a bit, but I don't know. Well, yeah. So anyway, that's what it is. I'll wait till the end. I'm gonna fuck this up.
I don't love Scotch. I don't love the smokiness of Scotch. I've had bottles bought for me and stuff like that. I just don't love the smoky flavor in liquid, I suppose, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, I don't get a lot of smokiness out of it. It's really big old grain forward. Like I don't have a ton of experience with Scotch, but I would bet money that this is as young as it is allowed to be before it gets thrown in those rum casks. Yeah. It strikes me as being a very young whiskey.
Well, it's good to know that Scotch distilleries are, they're thinking green. They're recycling. They're not cutting down new oak trees for their barrels.
Only Americans.
That's right. Keep their footprint small. So I bought a make your own 6-pack the other day at Bash's', and I wasn't sure what to drink for the show, and I still wasn't sure up until like an hour ago, because I got several different kind of stouts and I got a couple different IPAs. I was messing around on Beer Advocate, and one of the stouts that I had and one of the IPAs I had both had fairly low scores on Beer Advocate, and they're both from Phoenix. Well, one's from Phoenix and one's from Tempe. So I decided, in my expert wisdom, to make another black and tan, because I've never had a black and tan with an IPA before. So I decided to mix them and see how that goes. So I took the two lowest beers I had out of my Make My Own 6-pack. One was a Camelback IPA, which is from Phoenix Ale Brewing, and I've driven by their tasting room and their brewery lots of times. It's on Washington, and I've always wanted to try it. So I got a Camelback IPA from Phoenix Ale Brewing, which is only like 6.1%. It's nothing like incredible. And then I got a Wet Nose Brewery Milk Stout.
Oh, yeah.
And Wet Nose is not the name of the brewery. I forgot to write that down. And my can.
Yeah, I've had that.
My can is across the room, but it's a brewery out of Tempe. I don't remember the name of the brewery. It'll be in the photo. But so I got those two, and so I did taste them individually since I had to get to a half and half anyways. And my first thoughts on the Camelback IPA is that it's not really an IPA at all. It's more like an American Pale Ale or even an amber. It pours like a copper, like a golden amber color, not really golden like an IPA, even though I just said golden. It's more of like a copper color. And it's not very hoppy. If I just had it, I would not think it was an IPA. I would think it was an American Pale Ale or like an amber. It's nothing special. Not the best, not the worst. And then the milk stout is really not nearly as smooth as most milk stouts. There's like an artificial tang to it that I don't dig, and it's not very creamy at all. It wasn't great. So I took these two beers that may not be that great, and I put them together, and then we'll see how that goes. And
that's Sleepy Dog Brewery.
Yeah, Sleepy Dog Brewery. Thank you. Yeah. And it's just another one of those breweries where everything has a theme. I can't stand that shit. Like, there's breweries out there like everything has like a fireman theme. This one has everything. Every beer that Sleepy Dog has is named after some sort of dog or something. It's I don't have time for that shit. But anyways, we'll see how.
You don't have time.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm drinking out of my Steam Crow pint glass that I have, one of my favorite glasses. So we'll see if that elevates the taste of these two average beers. I'm not sure it will, but we'll see. On to what we're going to talk about today, which is kind of like what we're up to lately, how we're doing professionally, a state of the show, I suppose. But mostly, I want to talk to you about your current thing that you're working on that was announced. I think it was announced in previews a couple of weeks ago, but you talked about it on the show last week, and that is, why don't you do it? Why don't you say it?
Yeah, well, announced is kind of a misnomer. That makes me think of like trumpets blaring and somebody pronouncing something. But no, I'm doing a couple issues of Superman this summer, 26 and 27 specifically, so y'all know which ones to buy.
And both of those come out in the same month because it double ships, right?
Yes.
Yeah, unless something changes.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the July solicits, and only the one is in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
All right. So 26 and 27, and 26 has one of the best Superman covers I've ever seen in my life as the cover for it. That Lee Weeks cover.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Always.
Right. Yeah. He can't be beat as far as he draws Superman just right with the right build and everything. So yeah, this is Superman and Son, right?
Yes.
All right. That's exciting. So let's.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, so let's go back a little bit, because I think I wrote down a couple notes here, and to me, as someone who's known you for so long and followed your career for so long, it's really interesting because you seem to have gone the path that I think that if someone envisioned like, oh, how do I get to a point to where I'm drawing for DC, I think you kind of have like a textbook path. You started at a small publisher. with Boom and with Codebreakers and Dracula, and then you went into your own series at Image, which was a success, and then from there you got your feet wet at DC with Vertigo, and then now you're doing a couple issues of one of their top tier books. To me, that seems like a blueprint to try to follow. But does it feel that way to you, or is it just this is what happened and you're going along with it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can understand it, I guess. I mean, from the inside, from my point of view, being the way I am, I just feel like Forrest Gump. You keep failing upwards. But yeah, sure, yeah, do that. I don't know that anybody has the same trajectory in this business.
Right, but when you're working, like when you're doing your first book for Boom, are you doing that thinking like, okay, then I'll do hopefully this will get me to the next step up, or were you just happy to be doing that and hoping that, because it's not like you plateaued, you haven't worked for like smaller publishers for the last 5 years. Everything is a level up as far as visibility goes, so I mean, was it a conscious effort of yours, like, oh, I'll do this book at Boom and hopefully it'll be good enough that then I can do a book at, I can go to a publisher with a little more visibility, and then I can hopefully get my own series at Image. And then, I mean, was it all, do you start these projects with thinking that you got to do certain things on them to get to where you want to go next? Or
man, I wish I was conscientious enough to have that sort of forethought. It was never anything that occurred to me. I think I was just, like everybody does, just kind of fucking around and doing your own thing. When you don't have, when you're not working for, when you're not working on somebody else's property, you're not on a book, you're not with a publisher, you're not doing anything professionally. You're always doing your own thing. So I think it was, it would have been 2009, I guess. I was screwing around with Mysterious Adventure magazine, trying loosely is to make it like a quarterly thing, and just doing that, and then people see your stuff. I think all those early jobs I ever got were all through DeviantArt, so that's where the email from Boom came from. And when I got that email, I think the first thing they tried me out for was they were doing like a Blade Runner prequel, I think it was. So I did a couple of pages for that, and I didn't get that. And then at the time they had the Farscape property, and they were going to do a miniseries or something. So I did a tryout for that, and I didn't get that. But then I ended up getting Codebreakers, and that started in early 10, I think. But when I got that book, I didn't see a path forward, only because I wasn't looking forward. I thought that would be the only thing I ever did.
Yeah, okay. So
and I think I would have been okay with that, because at that point, I was, what is it? I would have been like 28, I guess, maybe at that point. 28, 29, I don't remember. And I didn't go to school. I've been working in like copy places and print rooms and stuff for 10 years at that point. I just kind of figured that's just what I would be doing. So I'd get this one thing, I'd have my name on this thing, I could put the paperback on my shelf, and that would be that. I'd just go on living my normal, ordinary guy life. Yeah, so we did that, and then went into Dracula with on Kurt Busiek's Dracula book. Mark Waid got him to do that. Boom. That was a good book. That was a lot of fun. That ended spring or summer of 11, and then I didn't do anything for 3 years. Yeah, I was maybe not content, but I had I thought that would have been it. I thought that was it. I had made peace with the fact that was just going to be it. That there wasn't the career that I had wanted my entire life wasn't going to materialize. That these two things, it's one more thing than I really thought I would get. So that would have been, I was probably okay with it, especially since I was working the day job too, and it created a lot of personal problems for me,
right?
And my family. It was, yeah. I mean, it's stressful to have to balance all of those things, and so I think I was ready to let it go.
So did Jay Farber, did he know you through your boom work, or did he know you through social media? Did your boom work lead into working with Jay on Copperhead?
It did.
Okay, so
yeah, I think that it probably would have been in 2012. I would think sometime that he reached out to me and asked if we wanted to do something, and I said sure. And the first thing he pitched me was this thing called Nick of Time. It was about a guy named Nick who travels through time. And I said, great, that sounds like fun. Draw dinosaurs and robots and whatever, cavemen and cowboys and shit.
Right.
And so he said, cool, I'll go away for a little bit. I'll think on it, and then we'll see what we can do. And I don't remember how long it was later. He came back. He's like, yeah, I don't really have anything beyond the title. Sorry, man. No, that's fine. So some more time passed, and he came back, and he's like, you know what? I really want to do something. What do you think of these things? And he pitched me a few ideas. I don't remember what the other ones were, but obviously one of them was a space western.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, yeah, I like both of those things. So, yeah, let's do that. So maybe for 4 or 5 months, we went back and forth over email and just pitch shit. And yeah, he had sort of I don't want to say a free pass, but he's homies with Eric Stevenson, and I guess at a show he had a copy of Code Breakers, and he was like, hey, I want to do a book, and I want to do it with this guy. And he said that Eric just said, okay, just whatever you want to do, let's do it. So yeah. I guess that's nice. I lucked out, and I like sci-fi, I like westerns, so it ended up being a nice fit. And Jay and I hit it off, and yeah, we just started doing our thing. It took a long time to get going, but yeah, it got out there.
Yeah, I have an email. So some of this I want to talk a little bit about sort of self-confidence when it comes to comics, because I couldn't find. It would take forever to go through all the emails we have, but basically we have email chains that go back 8 or 9 years where all we do is talk shit about our own work, and we shit on ourselves, and normally the other person would chime in with something nice, not always, but anyways. So I have an email that I saw, and it's from April 1st, so almost a little over 3 years ago, from 2014. And I was talking about how exciting it was that Copperhead was announced at that point. I don't think it was coming out. It didn't come out till the fall, but maybe.
Oh yeah, it would have been April.
Yeah, maybe it was announced, or maybe it was about to be announced, and you knew that, so we were talking about it. And I was excited for you, and you responded with, "This thing will be DOA," and then you always would say like, "Oh, we'll do the first arc of this, and I'll never work again." So. So you did a first arc of that, and it was very successful. It was a successful Image launch, a successful Image book, still is. Issue 12 just came out. So you did 10 issues of Copperhead, and then, so if your boom work led to Jay picking up your stuff, which led to your Image work, did your work on Copperhead lead to you getting work at Vertigo?
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
I guess
I think it would have.
Yeah, I guess this is common sense for people, but when you work in comics, it's really not. When you work on a project, it doesn't necessarily lead to another higher profile project. So
no, and I mean, yeah, and it shouldn't. But I guess I approach work with two different things going on. That the one, it is sort of a tryout. Your work right now is a resume for your next project.
Right, no matter what you're working on.
Right. And also that the page I'm working on today and the book that I'm working on today, it'll be the last one I ever do.
So you still think that? Except you have your own...
I'm convinced that, with the next page that I turn in, they're going to figure out that I'm a fraud. Right. That I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sure. They probably will. But that's not
it's going to happen.
Oh, of course. At some point, halfway through a book, they're just going to shit can the whole thing. They're going to cancel Superman because of your 2 issues.
Yeah, somebody's going to sober up and say, "What did we do?"
All right, so, and I don't want to put out there that like working on a Vertigo book is better than working on an Image book, because I think working on your own property is the best thing you could do.
Yeah, and I was going to say that when you were talking about
I mean more
leveling up, I think, but it's true in terms of eyeballs on your
That's
work.
what I mean. Yeah.
Exposure.
Yes, exposure. Right. Yeah, more people know you because of, every step of your career. More people know you because you did a book at Image than knew you when you were working at Boom. More people knew you from Vertigo than they knew you just from Image. So it's your...
I don't know that that's true.
You don't think so?
I could argue that one. I don't know. Well, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's fair to...
No, probably not. I don't know the numbers on either of my Image books.
Your Vertigo books, you mean?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the Vertigo books.
Yeah, you're right. They're probably similar with your Copperhead stuff.
Yeah, I would think they're comparable.
Right. Okay, so at what point into your Vertigo run, was it on Dark and Bloody, or was it on Lost Boys where you started getting interest from DC proper?
It wasn't too long after we started Lost Boys.
Okay.
I think it was in August of last year. So I don't know what issue that would have been.
So did you wrap
2, maybe the beginning of 3?
Did you wrap Dark and Bloody and then not have anything lined up, or were you going straight into Lost Boys after Dark and Bloody?
No, I had a couple weeks between books because they wanted to get Lost Boys out for Halloween. So we did that, and then I got an email from Jamie, from my Vertigo editor, saying, no, you know what? I don't even think I got an email from Jamie. I think I just got one from the Superman offices saying they talked to Jamie and that he said it was okay that I do this book too.
Well, stand-up guy, that Jamie Rich, letting you possibly work on Superman.
Yeah, I could do 2 books at the same time. He said it was okay.
Right. So another thing that's common, I think, among professionals and creators, they know this, but I don't think fans necessarily know this. But so you did a handful of pages, or maybe even a full issue or more of pages that have never been seen and may not be published. So you've been working on the side on Superman for a while now.
Well, so I'm guessing it's because of the double shipping nature that when the Superman offices contacted me, they contacted me with what they call an inventory issue,
right?
Something one-off that they can just stick in wherever they want, I guess. So that's what they sent me, and that's what I did. So it was a full 20-page story, all self-contained, and so that's what I did. I did that. I ended up having to put it on hold for a while so I could finish up Lost Boys, but they were cool about it, and I came back to it and finished, and I guess they were happy with it because they sent me more stuff to do, and yeah, that I don't know if any of this stuff will ever be seen. Maybe that inventory issue ends up in an annual somewhere. Maybe I don't know. And you know what? I'm perfectly fine with no one ever seeing my stuff. So if they don't use it, I'm not going to cry in my beer over that.
So is it jumping into issues 26 and 27 that you know are going to be published? Was it easier that you already had?
That maybe they could just go to 28.
Well, yeah, and we could also we could also die a nuclear holocaust between now and July.
That's right. Yeah.
But did it make it easier? Like, so like I'm working on a book now, and I'm about overall page 45 maybe out of, I don't know, maybe halfway done with it, or a little bit less than halfway done with it. And I feel like I'm just now hitting my stride on the book, on the characters. Was it good for you to have those 20 pages in your pocket when you started working on issue 26? You already had a feel for the character, kind of, and what DC wanted your version of Superman to look like?
Yeah, he'd always been one of the hardest characters to draw for me. I think he and Batman are probably right at the top of the list of characters that give me the most difficulty. I'm not really sure why that is, but difficulty with sort of getting a handle on and sort of making your own.
Right.
Not like in difficulty to draw, like Spider-Man with all of his stupid webs. Or,
right. No, he has a look that's established, but you still want to make it your own, and you gotta find that middle ground.
And yeah, there's really, I mean, other than the hair curl, there's nothing on his face that says that's who he is. There's no mask. There's no, there's not a cybernetic eye or whatever. I don't know. I just always had trouble with him, but I didn't feel that when I started the actual pages. I always have trouble with like convention sketches and just stuff where just like guys standing around. If there's no
like dictated action,
there's got to be some narrative thrust behind the image for me to really get into it and understand what it is that I'm drawing.
Right.
So yeah, just like cool looking pose stuff is not my bag, and that's what it had always been with him. I had never drawn any Superman story pages or anything, but no, it felt great. It was good. It felt like it was something that I was supposed to be doing. So
yeah, well, I think a lot. Well, I mean, just going back to those email threads we have, our friend John Derek West is on 99% of those as well. And both of us have been telling you for years, like, this is your trajectory. This is where your career is going to be at. And I don't think you ever believed us, whether that was a self-doubt issue or you thought we were just trying to pump you up or whatever. Some of it might have been trying to pump you up, but I honestly believe that you'd be in this position. And I think, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I remember saying at one point when you first started working at Vertigo, I remember thinking like, oh, it's only a matter of time before you're working on, DC proper stuff, superhero stuff. And I know at this point it's just the 2 issues, but, I think there's a slot open for that second story arc on the main Superman book. So I think, I don't know. I think you're there for a while, I in my opinion.
I'll stay if they'll have me. I mean, I hope these 2 issues go smoothly. I might mash my hand in a car accident or something, or get it closed in a vault door or something. Right. But
let's try to avoid that.
Outside of that happening, everything should go well, and it's half of it is the work that you do, and I think the other half, what I'm sort of gleaning, just having been around the Superman office for 6 months or whatever it's been, is that the other half of it is sort of how you work and how you handle yourself, because it's a big office. I mean, they're dealing with arguably the most high profile character in the comic book world.
Right.
So there are a lot of moving parts all the time, and there are, I would imagine, are a lot of voices giving input and sort of steering the ship. So it seems like a really fluid sort of working environment. So I think it takes a personality that is able to just kind of go where the wind blows. And fortunately, I think that's something I do pretty well.
Yeah, and then also it's cool that, and I don't know, maybe you weren't reading this book before you got contacted to do that inventory issue, but weren't you a fan of this book from when it launched because of the Superboy angle on it?
Yeah. like we mentioned Lee Weeks before, but yeah, he had done the miniseries with Dan Jurgens, the Lois and Clark miniseries that folded 90s Superman that I had read as a kid back into the mainstream DC universe. So, but in the through events that had happened, they had been able to have a child. So now Superboy is actually Superman's son. Now he's back in the Superman that I grew up reading has a kid and is in mainstream DC continuity now. And that was very appealing to me, having two sons of my own and having a Superman that I'm familiar with. I didn't need, that I hadn't read in 15 years. I didn't need to do a lot of homework to get back into the book. Then, Pete Tomasi and Pat Gleason are doing a lot of fun stuff on the book. And so, yeah, it was really easy to get into. So I was reading it from number one. And, it's everything sort of came together. The planets kind of aligned.
Yeah, I mean, they could have asked you to do like a Guy Gardner one-shot, but, they contacted you for Superman, so that's exciting. Probably the second best option you could get at DC for me personally. I mean, I think Batman would be the more fun book to work on, but no, I think that's cool. It's a book that you were already reading. It's a character you're excited about, and you get to work on it at a big publisher. You can't ask for more than that. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's not something that I had envisioned for myself. Certainly not before my start at Boom, and not during it, since I thought that would have been it.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I always hope that there's going to be more, but I never expect that there's going to be anything.
Okay, but now, so at what point do you start believing in yourself and your own career, right? So even now, do you think you can't possibly think these 2 issues of Superman are the last professional work you'll do? Not like when you were working on Codebreakers at Boom. You got to know, no one just falls off, most people don't fall off the top of a cliff and never heard from again. I mean, to use that analogy, if you don't work on Superman again, you have your own book at Image, but you could also, I'm sure, Dark Horse, Boom, Oni, or whatever, they'd snatch you up in a second. So you have to know at this point, like, there is a future to your career, and it is a career. So do you start thinking?
No, I don't know that.
Well, I mean, I think it's safe to assume that. You don't think about what you're doing as a career, like you don't think like, oh, so now I'll do this for the next 20 years.
No,
this is who I am. You don't think about that.
No, I don't. No, I don't think about it. I mean, I'd like to be that guy that's has the 30 or 40 year career or whatever, and when I'm 65 or whatever, I'm thought well of by all young folks. But no, I don't think about it. I never think about it. I hope everything works out. I would like it to, but I don't expect anything. I mean, in 2 years, I don't know. If I had to paint a picture of my future in 2 years, it's probably me working at Target or something. I don't know. My whole life I've had no real expectations of anything. I don't know if that's, I don't know why. I tell myself it's just so, it mitigates disappointment.
Yeah, it's a defense. It's a defense mechanism.
But no, I don't plan anything. It's an extreme fault of mine. I mean, I'm going to be homeless in 20 years because of this, but no, I don't plan anything. I don't look ahead. I mean, I made dentist appointments for my kids yesterday for like 3 weeks out, and that's so far to me.
Yeah, I got to do, when I take my kids to the dentist, they make the appointments as you leave for the next 6-month checkup, and I'm like, 6 months? Like, holy shit, I won't even be able to save this card reminder, the card they give me with the date on it. I'll be lucky if I know where that is in 6 months.
Right.
Much less all of our health and the planet and shit like that. But I do think it is funny that you're always expecting the worst, and I'm kind of like that too. Don't take anything for granted. And I think some people are raised in a household that tells them like you got to do this and you're going to do this, and they put pressure on them. And I wasn't raised in a household like that. I was raised in a household to basically be a good human being and, take care of my responsibilities. And now that I'm an adult and I'm a pretty moral person and I take care of my responsibilities, I'm left wanting with what I want is more, or I want more, but it's not within my grasp, or I don't think it's within my grasp. So I don't know if expecting so much and planning for so much is a fault or a benefit, or if kind of like just taking what comes to you is a fault or benefit.
Yeah, it's nothing I was ever raised with either. Maybe it comes with having, artistically gifted kids, is the shit of following your dreams. Just doing, follow your heart and do the thing that you want to do. Just be you. I was never pushed to do anything either. Nothing at all. Nothing. I never went out for sports or in high school. My parents never pressured me to go to college or fill out applications or anything. Nothing. I mean, they just left me to do whatever. I didn't even know about the SATs until after they happened.
I feel like you and I were the same side of the same coin. It was the same thing. College was never talked about in my household. It was just, as long as I wasn't causing trouble and I wasn't being a burden and I wasn't being disrespectful to my mom, or I wasn't being a shithead, everything was fine, and that was my life. And I feel like that's still my life. But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it is what it is, I suppose.
Yeah. It's I wish I had been held to those standards that my friends had been. I wish I had been pushed to do more and to do what, I guess kids of that age were supposed to be doing. I feel like I was supposed to be doing a lot of stuff that I didn't do. Even today, I don't feel like I adult properly because I don't know the way that it's supposed to be done.
No, I go to bed every night thinking like I got to deal with my student loans tomorrow, and then
my wife takes care of all the bills. I don't look at that stuff.
No, and my wife now, one of the things, so most of our stuff is kept separate, but that is one of the things when we moved in together. I told her I don't want to see a bill, I don't want to pay a bill, because I had enough of that in my previous life. So even still today, I have like 2 bills that come out automatically, and that's it. And my wife takes care of everything else. Even though it might be with my money, I'm still not paying that bill because I can't be bothered. But it's just like
I don't like looking at it.
I don't either.
It stresses me out looking at the bank account and dealing with what. It's like, I don't know. The water costs what?
Yeah.
It's just don't even show it to me.
Yeah, water and sewage is what?
I will do all the dishes. I'll pick up the house. I'll get up with the kids. I'll do whatever. Just never make me look at the checkbook.
Yeah, I'm the same exact way. And so that's how I don't adult properly, is I don't take care of bills. I don't take care of lingering issues, like I said, with my student loans or whatever. I don't deal with that shit the way an adult deals with things. But I do take care of all my responsibilities otherwise. And I feel like that's as good as can be. That's the absolute best I can do. The absolute best me is someone who like makes dinner for his kids. Like that's all I can muster. That's the best I can do. And the older I get, the more I realize like that's going to have to be enough, because I literally can't do anymore. So I don't know how we got into this, but
I don't know how much of that is a personal failing and how much of that is my parents. But I think it's 50-50 or probably 60-40 them.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you comes a point in your life where you can't blame your parents for everything, but it's easier to blame them than to accept responsibility for yourself.
Yeah, I'll just blame them for the biggest thing then. I'll take everything else.
Right. Anyways, I wanted to do this episode because I'm really proud of you and I'm really excited that you get to work on Superman. That's fucking cool as shit. And
Thanks.
And you do have the kind of career that career projection that I want, or maybe I'm too old to want it now. Maybe it's the projection I wanted. You seem to do it the right way, and so that's cool. I like that.
I guess it's the only thing I've ever done the right way.
Oh, come on.
Well, thanks. It's I will say that getting that email from the Superman office that first time was probably one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, I got an email just like a week ago that had a misleading title that was like a spam email. But I think they knew that whatever robot it was or wherever it was from, they knew that I was a comic artist. So it made mention to like a major publisher in the email line. And then I realized that it was just like someone who wants me to give them money so they can promote me or something ridiculous. I deleted it. I don't even have it anymore. But yeah, getting those emails or getting like even on a smaller scale, getting any email saying like, hey, I'd like to work together. 99% of the time those don't work out because of budgetary reasons and funding reasons, but it's still nice. Like I sent a pitch off to a publisher the other day, following up on a pitch I sent last year that I never got a response for last year. And then the other day I got a response a couple hours later and he said, hey, resend this in 2 weeks when I'm able to focus on it and we'll talk about it. So that,
neat.
Like even something like that is exciting, even though I know there's like a 1% chance it would ever go through.
You only need to send them 100 times then.
Yeah, good point. Okay, how was your? I don't even remember your Grange, your Lagrange, not Lagrange.
Grangetown. Are we not going to talk about you, the state of you?
We can.
Should we make that next week's episode? Is this too long?
No, because that's not an episode. I mean, we're getting a little long now, but I'm just doing a new podcast. That's not an episode.
Get out of here.
All right, maybe we'll do it next week, and then that way we could do a shorty next week, possibly. So we'll talk about the new podcast next week. That's not replacing this podcast by any means. But yeah, we'll just do it next week because we got a long one already this week.
That's a threat. We're here to stay,
yeah,
motherfuckers.
We got a fucking YouTube channel now, bitches. You can get your ass on YouTube. Yeah, my kid was at. My kid's school has this thing where instead of parent-teacher conferences, they do student-led conferences where your kid tells you what they've been doing, and then if you have any questions, the teacher's in the room.
Right.
You're basically led by your child to all of his classrooms.
Right.
And so my youngest son, one of his classes in liberal studies is social media or social media footprint, teaching them anything you put on the internet now is going to stay there forever, cyberbullying, shit like that.
Uh-huh.
And he had to do a paper on social media and who uses it and how they use it. And so he had to interview 6 children and 6 adults. And what his 6 children or 6 teenager study showed was that 5 of the 6 used YouTube exclusively as their social media viewing. They don't if we want anyone under 40 to ever listen to this podcast, they're not listening on Stitcher. They're not listening on iTunes. They don't have an iTunes account. They're not sure as fuck not going to a website to listen to a podcast. All their media viewing comes on YouTube, right? And all three of my kids spend all day on YouTube. Kills my bandwidth, kills my internet. And so that's why I went ahead and put I'm starting to. I only have last week's up because it takes a while to render.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass because it has to have a video element. You can't just put an audio file up on YouTube. So
really?
Yeah, you got to re-output them.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I got to go into like Movie Maker and re-output them, and it just takes a little while. But yeah,
so what's the visual element on our podcast?
It's just a static image
of what?
Of the logo of the logo.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, you would have known that if you would have looked at it yesterday when I was tweeting about
whatever.
it. Yeah.
We should do some sort of some visual component.
Yeah, we could. I I did.
I don't know how to record myself though.
Yeah, see, that would be the problem. Is the way we're set up, and this is fascinating for our listeners. The way we're set up doesn't work for video recording. So maybe we'll dick around with it and we'll try to figure it out. But anyways, yeah. So we have a YouTube channel. So they're literally now we're on like six of the top 6 rated podcast apps. We're on YouTube. We should have 10,000 listeners.
Wow, taking over the world.
That's right. So how was your scotch? It's scotch, right? Yeah.
Yeah, is
it any better, or is it a mixer? Going forward,
no, it's fine. It's adequate. I imagine I would put it at average. It's a solid 2.5.
Well, to quote you, is it a 2 or is it a 3?
Yeah. 3 was you would drink it again if somebody gave it to you.
3 was you would buy it. 2 was you would drink. 2 was you would drink it again if someone gave it to you.
Oh, let's go 2 then.
Okay. And so my idea of mixing 2 subpar beers, one IPA and one stout, into one drink, it made it slightly better than they were individually, but not much better. I would put both of these drinks, the Camelback IPA and the Wet Nose Milk Stout, I put them both at a 2. I mean, if someone bought me around at a bar and that's what they bought me, I would drink them, but I wouldn't buy them again. Although I am intrigued now by the IPA stout combo, and I'm going to try it again maybe next week with better quality IPA and better quality stouts. So that's where we're at. And as always, anything else you want to talk about? Any other announcements besides 2 issues of Superman this summer?
No. Yeah, just catch the last 2 issues of my career this summer.
That's right. And the first one is in previews now, right? You could tell your you could tell your local comic shop to order up on Superman 26.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have the code in front of me. It should be pretty easy to find though.
Yeah, it's not like a small indie book. You just tell the manager at your local shop to order a lot of the July issue of Superman.
Super what?
What? I never heard of that shit. All right, so until next week then, I suppose you could follow the show on Twitter at TIG_show. You could follow Scott at ScottyGod. You could pester him about Superman. You could follow me at Ryan Cody. All of our past episodes are available for free on tigshow.com. If you like the show, you could drop us an email at tigshowpod@gmail.com, and you could buy the Guys Around link on our site at that same at the website, tigshow.com. So, all right, buddy, I'll talk to you next week, I suppose, and we're coming up on Acme weekend, which is going to be fun. So the next couple of weeks are going to be fun. So I'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye.